this edition of the World Extreme Games, we feel the need for speed. The Street Luge event brought together the best pilots from around the world, all competing for medals, cash, and the prestigious title of World Extreme Games champion. The dual competition was some of the closest racing seen in years. Let's check out highlights from the dual Street Luge heats.
Well, our problem right now is everybody's within a half a second, and the wind is even a difference. It's right now we could roll the dice in the parking lot right now and have a better answer to who wins this thing. So it's cool. It's what it is. It's Street Luge, man.
We're having fun on this course. This course is getting great. The road's starting to cool down now, so we might be fighting Mother Nature here pretty soon. It might change the whole aspect of the race.
There was not one moment we weren't almost touching each other. We were just like this, going all over each other. Oh, it was amazing.
I was banging hay bales on both sides of the course all the way down.
What is it about, your racing that you think is going to get you through today?
I started this damn sport.
Oh, man.
That was a great ride.
It's very straight and fast.
Oh, man, it's great. Everybody's good, man. These guys have gotten so much better. You should see this guy push off over here, man. Oh, man. He's going to scare us off the line.
Track feels good. Track felt good yesterday. It feels good today. Everybody's kicking some butt on this mountain. The adrenaline's high right now. A lot of nerves.
Everybody here is in the top 50 in the world. You cannot really get a higher class event than this.
That was a beautiful race, man. Woohoo! That was awesome.
Yeah! And I love being in Australia, man. This place is great.
In this edition, our main feature is on the Dual Street Luge Finals, held on the southern Melbourne coastline at Arthur's Seat. One of the fastest sports at the World Extreme Games is Street Luge. The key to a fast time down the course is the cornering. Choosing the right angle into a corner will make you roll rather than slide around it. And this will help competitors to get a fast exit speed. Smooth lines and aerodynamic positions will get you down the course quickly. Sitting behind other riders and getting a slipstream is one of the best ways to pick up speed and pass. The only way to stop a luge in motion is to use foot brakes. Luge pilots add rubber to their shoes to get extra stopping power. And at 80 kilometres an hour, you need all the stopping power you can get.
Bob Pereira, Sean Mallard, two Americans coming at you.
All right, here we go. They're paddling off into the start of this first race. Bob Pereira, an absolute legend in the world of Street Luge, and he's getting off to a great start here.
Sean was going right behind him for the little drafting maneuver.
Yeah, Sean's going to have to catch up. He's really going to have to stick his toes right on the helmet of Bob Pereira if he's going to have any chance of slipstreaming by in any of these turns.
Bob's way too smart for that. This guy has basically stated that he is one of the founders, if not the guy that started this whole thing.
Exactly. There's a bit of little bit of controversy out there in the street luge world over exactly who found this sport and take it to where it is today. But I'll tell you right now, this is where we're at. And Bob Pereira, all those years of practice and experience are taking him through this turn. And I tell you what, he's going to be very tough for Sean, the Duck Muller, to beat him from here.
Both clean, good braking with the feet, just smooth sailing all the way so far.
Exactly, a pretty easy race for Bob Pereira. Sean is not really getting that close to him. Bob's going to know exactly where he is, just putting the 1 foot brake in there. Now he's getting into the hairpin turn. This is where it gets tough. This is where the good races are going to come through without a scratch. And you can see there, both those races coming through, but Bob Pereira still in the lead.
Yeah, it's no style here. It's pure speed, pure adrenaline. And whoever makes the finish line first.
Bob Pereira flying into the semifinals. Here we go with the replay.
Yeah, and it looks like Pereira, just a nice clean line, great braking. It's nice and smooth, man, just like the pro that he is. Mallard coming up on the turn, almost went in the hay bales, losing a lot of speed, skidding out there, and couldn't quite catch up from there on out. Yeah, we got Big Tom Mason from the United States, Peter Elliott from England. They're gonna have to do a lot of work here in the start.
Yeah, you know what? The start is a lot to do with these street luge races. Sometimes they have the pole sticking out of the ground. They can really get a big push. Today they've got to go with the knuckle and then into the palm paddle, and they're very close going into the start, but it is Peter Elliott who is slightly behind Tom Mason. Tom Mason's a big guy. He's going to be tough to catch up from here.
Yeah, it's got to be a huge difference, guy carrying that much weight down that hill.
Exactly. That's pretty much what carries them down here. These guys can't do any accelerating. The only thing that gets them going faster is their weight, and then they can break into the turns. If they can hold off on their braking, then they're going to have a little more speed going into the finish.
I mean, it's all physics, Paul. I mean, maybe that energy drink helps out, but I mean, seriously.
Exactly. It is a lot to do with physics. You know what? But there's also the setup of their boards, very technical. You see these guys in the pits really working it, and right here under brakes, and the line they take through the course. If they can pick a good line, that's going to set them up for the finish.
Well, there's not much Elliott can do. He's just going to stare at the back of that helmet and wishing he had some kind of grappling hook so he can just launch it over there and get Mason in the helmet and pull him back.
Yeah, Mason's a seasoned veteran of street luge, and this is where you're going to see him really put his skills to work. Coming through the hairpin, taking a great line there. You see Peter Elliott almost hitting those hay bales, taking, you know, somewhat of a bad line through. It's going to make it even harder for him to catch Tom if he's doing that.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do now. This race is over.
Exactly. They're coming through the finish. Tom Mason with a fairly easy win, cruising over the finish line.
In the replay, we see the sweet, smooth style that Tom Mason has to go through to the semifinals.
Yes, and he is going to be taking on the big man, Bob Pereira.
George Orton from the US of A, Nick Duffield from his home ground of Australia here.
That's right, he comes from a little bit west in Adelaide, and you know what, it's tough for these Australian guys. They haven't been doing the street luge as long as the Americans, but if you check out the start here, Nick Duffield getting a great start on the veteran George Orton, but you know what, George Orton is a very, very smart racer. He's going to be tough to beat no matter where the start ends up.
Yeah, most definitely. I kind of dig the all-black suit, no logos thing. That's pretty cool.
Well, you know what? It's tough for these Australian guys to get their sponsorship. I mean, it's a new sport out here, and they haven't been doing that long. But with events like the Summer Extreme Games, these guys are definitely going to rise to popularity.
Yeah, and Duffield says he likes to do this to give his adrenal glands a workout.
Well, you know what? He's definitely going to get a workout today racing against George Orton. Look at that. George Orton already got him. He slipstreamed through. He's coming around the left-hander here. Comes up under brakes. You know what? These guys are absolutely flying down Arthur's Seat Mountain.
It's close.
It is a close one. Nick Duffield definitely putting up a good show. Coming through on the inside. Oh, here we go with the hustle and bustle.
Hey, guys, get a room.
Exactly. You know what? Rubbing is racing, and that's what's going on here. Nothing illegal happening there. These guys are going to come out of this being happy. This is the hairpin. George Orton sliding through. It is a very tight race. I tell you what, one of the more exciting ones I've seen today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bumping and grinding, but it's just part of the racing. These guys are friends. They know it. They respect each other. That's just the way it is. We'll fight to the finish.
Exactly. George Orton is an absolute master of the hustle and bustle.
George pulls it off. As you can see in the replay, in the last turn, Paul, it's just a matter of which line you're going to take.
Exactly. You see George coming in here, taking the inside line, and that was the difference between first and second. It's all about the line.
Here we go. Quarterfinals of Street Luge. We got Jeremy Gilder from the UK, if you couldn't tell, and Andre Weber from Australia. you know, little high five. What's up? Good luck, brother.
A lot of camaraderie between these two guys. They're both fairly new to the street luge scene. You know, this is going to be a great race. Andre Webber actually designs a lot of the boards that you see the Australian guys riding on. So he definitely knows a lot about Australian street luging. And look at the paddle right out of the gate. Andre Webber in the lead, and Jeremy Gilder trying to catch him with a couple of extra paddles there. We'll see how this one turns out.
Yeah, talking about boards and butts. I remember sitting on my skateboard, Paulie, just going down there and just shredding the heels of my shoes. My mom getting upset at me.
Oh, yeah, way back in the 80s, we'd hit the parking lots around Melbourne, all over Australia, just flying around there on the skateboards. These guys, though, have taken it to the next level. They've changed the wheels, the bearings, the boards, everything, and they're stepping it up, flying up to about 60, 70 kilometers an hour down this mountain.
Yeah, it's about 40, 45 miles per hour, and it is just nuts. I mean, they're only about an inch off the ground. Great turn we got going here.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, you know, he's taking the outside line. And the difference between these two guys, it's really going to end up in line. You've got to pick that line coming into the turn and come out of it. You can't accelerate out of these turns. You just got to hope that you pick the right line. And here's the tough corner coming up. There's that heel wearing out that you were talking about, Brett, coming around the hairpin.
Oh, losing some speed. Oh, two wheels. That's it.
That's right. That is going to be it for Jeremy Gilder. The hands go up on the head. He knows he can't catch Andre Webber from here. And we've got an Australian now coming through to the semi-finals. Great to see Andre Webber doing well. Look at that, just firing down like a rocket to the finish line. Jeremy took a little time to come home there, and Andre coming through the easy win, and this is where he won it right here on the line. Look at the way he took it in, Brett.
Yeah, it's the last turn right here, and this is where it was all laid out right here. This is it. Done. I'm sorry. Hey, game over. Insert quarter. Yeah, semifinals, Street Luge. Bob Pereira, Tom Mason, giving props to each other. Good luck.
Yeah, these guys have both been around the US Street Luge circuit for a long time. A lot of respect built up between these two guys. And they're off and racing. Bob Pereira going for that big paddle in that spiffy new leather suit. I tell you what, let's hope it gets him through to the finish line in first place today.
The other guy's got flames of fire. Yeah, fire, fire.
Exactly, the fire is lit, and these guys are off. Check out how tight these guys are. You know, this is really going to be a battle of the minds. They both know street luge racing so well that they're really going to have to outthink each other, literally.
Oh, man, you think his hair would get caught back there?
Yeah, Bob Pereira, he's got the long hair flowing out the back of the helmet, but you know what? He's lifting his neck up just enough to get a look at that hill. These guys don't see much, so they're like an inch off the ground here.
Yeah, they're an inch away from each other. This is a tight race. This is the tightest race we've seen so far.
Yeah, you can see what, you know, guys with experience, as much as these guys have, they're still feeling the pressure.
Yeah, Pereira pulling it out a little bit.
Exactly, taking a couple of different lines there. We'll see how that ends up in the finish.
We got that one big turn down at the end here coming up, and this is going to be distinguishing who's going to be taking it to the finals.
Yep, Bob Pereira coming in there first, taking the inside line, and you know what? I think he's cut it a little bit quicker than Tom Mason. I think that's going to do it for him. It's going to be tough for Tom to beat him from here, not quick enough to slipstream. Bob Pereira, a very well thought out race. That is going to take Bob Pereira into the finals. Tom Mason coming in behind. Boom, look at that.
Yeah, here it is. You know, 2 man in, 1 man out. This is what it's going to spit out, this big fat turn, Paul.
Exactly. You know what? They pretty much came out of there as they went in. Bob Pereira probably came out with a little bit more of a lead. If Tom stuck to him a little bit closer, maybe he could have slipstreamed him into the finish line.
Just like the Olympics, Paul, we got the United States against Australia, George Orton and Andre Webber.
You know what? My bet here is Australia's going to come through, but that's just the way us Australians are. We're very confident, as would Andre Webber be. Let's see how this race pans out.
Yeah, let's see how it pans out.
We'll see. Andre Webber, look at that. He's got him on the start. But you know what? Your boy George Orton is a very smart racer. But you know what? I think he could even be a little rough out there today.
And shields down. Feet are going to come down soon to break through this turn.
George Orton, look at that, already got him. The experience of George, I think, is showing through. Andre Webber, though, is playing catch-up from here. It's going to be tough to outsmart a guy like George, but if anyone can do it from this country, it's going to be Andre Webber. He is our leading rider at the moment.
These guys are carrying a great deal of speed. They haven't braked yet.
Yeah, they're definitely carrying it in quick into this left-hander there. George Orton sitting up first. Andre Webber taking a while to set up. That's his only really hope of catching George. He's got to get him under brakes.
Man, this is some serious stuff. Look at that little bump. They were cool.
That's what I'm talking about. George came in there, gave him a little bump, but you know what? I don't think there was anything dirty in there. That was just a legal bump. Rubbing is racing, Brett.
Hey, man, that's just the way it is out here. Okay, the big final turn.
Coming into the hairpin, George Orton cruising through there, taking a great line, but so did Andre Webber. You know what? These guys are very evenly matched. Just George Orton got him on the slipstream at the top there, and it's going to be tough for Andre all the way through the race.
Yeah, Paul, it's all about bearings nowadays, and these guys are just going to roll on through the finish. You see it. 1-2. We got George Jordan go to the finals.
Yeah, George Jordan in the end got him by about 4 lengths. And you know what? Was the interesting part of the race here. You see Andre Weber taking the inside line, George Jordan taking the outside, and boom, banging it in together there. George came out of that a lot better off than Andre did.
Andre Weber from Australia, Tom Mason from the United States of America, the fight for 3rd place.
Yep, these guys are battling out for the bronze. Andre Weber hoping to bring home some sort of medal for Australia on our home turf. Here we go, Andre Weber off to a great start, but Tom Mason, another one of those guys who just really knows how to race. He's going to be tough to beat no matter where this start comes out. Andre Weber, though, having to hold him off, and he's doing a good job so far, but they are macking in here. Tom Mason taking the inside line, though.
It's a seriously tight race, and I got to tell you the truth, you know, maybe we should just let you guys win one. We got 2 Americans in the finals.
Let us win one. You know what? Tom Mason is definitely fighting for this, and you can see right there he's already overtaken Andre Weber. But Andre is close enough that he might be able to slipstream. They're trying to get each other under brakes here. This is where it comes down to it. Now they're heading into this hairpin, though. This is going to sort out the bronze medal right here.
And like you're saying before, Paul, it's all about taking the right line. So whoever has the right line going in that final turn is going to be able to take this one.
Yeah, they're close enough here that, you know what, the right line is definitely going to matter. There they go, getting it under brakes. Here we go, Tom Mason coming around a little bit wider. Andre Weber still on his board, hoping that he can maybe come through on the slipstream around the slight right-hander into the finish.
Weber actually picked up some speed on that turn, but not enough. And in the final stretch here, looks like we have Tom Mason taking the bronze medal.
Yeah, Tom Mason coming through with about another 4 lengths ahead of Andre Weber. Andre Weber's going to miss out on the bronze, and this is why, if you look at the replay here, Tom Mason just flying down that mountain so much quicker, comes from the outside back onto the inside, picking a much better line.
Bob Pereira, George Jordan, God bless America. We got United States of America right here in effect.
Yeah, you know what? The guys from the States definitely experts at this sport. The Australians gave it a good shake, and this is going to be one hell of a match. Bob Pereira, the guru of Street Luge, up against George Jordan, a guy that has definitely been around a long time and knows how to race.
And these guys have raced against each other probably quite a few times in their history, and I'm sure it's going to take somebody to wreck to be able to get out of this one.
Yeah, you know what? These guys both know the style and line that each other has, and you know what? They're definitely going to be thinking each other out of this race. But Bob Pereira still in the lead. He's leading from the front, and hopefully he's going to be able to stay there for his sake.
Nothing to hold back here. These guys are having a great time, but they also know that they're going for the gold.
Yep, George Jordan coming up on race.
Oh! Oh, man.
There he goes. Bob Pereira just looking back to make sure he's all right. What a great guy is Bob Pereira, but George Jordan just caught him in the middle of his board there, and out he went.
Yeah, it's got to be tough. All he's got to do is just come across the finish line. He's looking where his buddy's at. He wants to pull up and wait for him, but he's going down to the finish line. He's going, that's mine.
You know what, Brett? I think that the kind of guy that Bob Pereira is, he really wanted to be a good, fair race. He's probably a little upset that it's not going to be tighter in the end, because it's been a great day of Street Luge here in the duel.
Yeah, man, it's got to be a cool feeling, though, to come across that finish line all by yourself. Yeah, we can check it out again. We got Pereira just ahead of Orton coming into this turn, laying it down.
Yeah, if you look there, George Jordan taking a different line, and the middle of his board just caught the back of Bob Pereira, spun him right out, and boom, right into those hay bales, back first.
Looks like if he just put his foot down to brake, it would have been all right.
Recapping the results, it was the founder of the sport, Bob Pereira, taking home the gold medal, with veteran racer George Orton taking home silver. And in the grudge match, Tom Mason bumped out Andre Weber for 3rd place. Street Luge has been described as a poor man's Formula One. It's a sport where you can go out, make your own board, and then be racing. Let's meet one of its founders, Bob Pereira.
I've always had a desire to race vehicles and such, and as a kid I grew up racing go-karts and things like that. It all derived from the skateboard, so, but many years I got dared to skateboard down a hill, standing up, which wasn't very successful. So ended up riding on the old seat of your pants, and from there it was one of those things where it just kind of clicked, and we thought about, we called it Land Luge instantly. Basically took it to the network, the news networks, and kind of showed ourselves off one day, and next thing you know, people came out of the woodwork saying that, hey, we do this too. So that's kind of how the whole thing started ballooning into place, is that we found more and more people that did it. We had to learn by crashing and by our mistakes. You know, we would make one board every day based on how the other one worked. If it worked, right, we would change one thing or another, and it you know, came from being a piece of wood to a piece of metal. The fear is there, you know, because fear, if you don't have fear, basically, then you're just a wild person, and that keeps you pretty much alive. I've had some pretty ugly accidents, but I've learned from every one of them, and because of that, I think it's made me a lot safer of a person on the road. You have so many emotions running through your head. You have your wheels working, your suspension working correctly, and you were able to dial this in yourself by feel. Luge has been my life. It's the one thing I've done the most of in life, and it's my profession.
Fast corners, smooth lines, and knee-shaking speed are what downhill skateboarders live for. Competitive downhillers have taken your average skateboard and added length and width for stability. Then increase the size of the wheels, and speed is your friend. Let's check out the competition heats from the World Extreme Games.
It's a good course. Corners are a lot of fun. There's a lot of places to pass on this course. It's going to be interesting once we get on man competition.
There's a couple pretty sharp corners that you either have to drag a foot and slow down before the corner and just barely make it through, or have plastic slide plates and you're sliding through the corner and controlling your speed and making the corner at the same time. This hill is pretty technical as it is, and then you have to try to beat somebody down it. It makes it a little more interesting.
Surface is rough on the top section. It's good for braking, yeah, but it might be a bit too good. It's destroying shoes.
Took it all the way down the hill. Slipped a little bit coming through the righty. Broke as hard as I could all the way into the smooth pavement on that hairpin. Slid just a touch, came out of it about 5 miles an hour. Took it all the way down.
I think it's good, just to make the sport grow and involve a lot of nations coming from each part of the world. My favorite part? The last hairpin. I love it.
Put the show in motion, we head down the Australian coast to the Mornington Peninsula for the running of the Downhill Skate Finals. One track, two riders, the fastest down the hill wins. It's that easy if you can stop your skateboard from getting speed wobbles at speeds in excess of 60 kilometres an hour. Like all speed sports, an aerodynamic stance helps you to get up to maximum speed as quickly as possible. But drafting behind another rider will help you to build up the required momentum to pass your competitor. All your straight line speed can be for nothing if you can't master the tight turns. Two very different styles are being used on this course. The first is to slow down before you reach the corner and roll around it, taking a smooth line, trying to get a fast run out to the next straight. The other is to charge at the corner with a low centre of gravity and slide your board into it. This will slow you and help you corner at the same time. Let's see which style will win the gold.
All right, here we are at the quarterfinals of the men's downhill two-man stand-up finals. We have Daryl Freeman in the gray and Gary Hardwick in the white. And let's see how we go, Paul.
Okay, here we go. They're both charging out of the gate. Pretty even to start with. Daryl Freeman coming out of Hawaii, and I tell you what, oh, it's a close one. This is going to be tough. Coming around the first turn, they are neck and neck. This is going to be a tight race. This is the kind of race I look forward to, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. We have Daryl there with the nice tuck, and also Gary. They have a real similar style, except now you can see the difference in the style coming around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Gary braking a little there and getting some speed wobbles. This is where it's going to be tough. It's going to come down to their braking techniques, who can really hold it around those corners, who's got the softer wheels on, and who is going to be able to stick it all the way to the finish.
Exactly. Now, the drafting, again, is important. It looks like Gary's coming up, trying to get that draft in. He's got a little bit of that drag foot style in the corner, whereas Daryl has the arms out.
Yeah, Daryl's sticking his arms out there, dropping one for off. But here we go, Gary trying to break around on the inside. And there goes the tangle, taking two different lines into the corner. And they both went down. We'll see who can pick up their board quicker. You see Daryl coming around the outside. They're almost getting tangled up again. And off he goes, pushing his way down the hill, while Gary has chosen to really ease off on the pushing coming into the last turn here.
Yeah, right, Paul. It looks like Gary's still a little shaken up from that last crash. And as you can see, Daryl got right back on his horse, pushed hard, and built a comfortable lead coming into this next corner. And as long as he can hang on to that, it looks like he just might pull it off.
Here they go, taking different lines again. Oh, sliding around the outside.
Gary goes down again.
He caught the hay bales one more time. I tell you what, Daryl Freeman is going to be almost impossible to beat from here if he can stay on his board. You see that sign back there that says 15K an hour? It's very tough to stick it around that turn.
All right, a dual rivalry right out of the USA. We have George Orton and Eli Smooth, and they're going to charge right out of this gate. So, Paul, why don't you take over and give us a little commentary on what's happening here.
You can see Eli there really working it on the start. This guy's had some great times throughout the prelims and practice. I'll tell you what, he has gone down a few times. If he can stay on his board, he's going to be very tough to beat in these finals today. And as we come out of the first corner, Eli Smooth is just ahead.
And we look like we have George trying to get into that tuck position a little tighter there and pick up some of the draft of Eli's. That's really important, because if you can get into that draft, it actually acts like a slingshot and will pull you ahead. Now you can see the difference in braking style there. Eli threw his arms out, whereas George slid his foot. So there's a couple different techniques going on.
Also the difference in the cornering, but George has gone down right there.
Yes,
Eli's cornering technique, great. Stuck to the corner. George, though, slid out and boom, into the hay bales. He hasn't hurt himself, though, and he's up. I tell you what, if Eli stays on his board, it's going to be very tough for George to catch.
Now you can see that air braking system again. You throw the arms out. Oh, and now he goes down. So who knows? George is coming back right now. He might be able to pass up Eli on this corner and see what happens here.
Eli's down again. This race is wide open now. George has got to do a lot to catch. Oh, George has gone down again. High side, right over the back. That's not a way that these guys want to go down. I think Eli, if he stays on his board now, should take this race away. George had a window there to cruise on in, but Eli's
got a comfortable lead right now, and all he has to do is stand up and cruise through the finish, and that looks like exactly what he's going to do.
Exactly.
He's going to save his body and hopefully run right into the semis, which he does.
There he goes, an easy win, just taking it over the line, nice and slow, and George will pull up behind. We're coming into quarterfinal number 3. We've got Dallas Oberholzer from South Africa and Manu Antona from France. Two foreigners charging down this hill on the top of the Mornington Peninsula. We'll see how they go. And they're charging into the start.
We have Dallas in the black and we have Manu in the white. And they're both taking off on a very, very hard push there. And two different distinct styles. Manu has got this classic Euro hands in front style, while Dallas has a tuck hand behind the back style.
That's right. There's very different styles. This sport has come from all over the world. They're coming into Melbourne here, and they're showing their different styles. And you know what? Today we're going to find out who's king of the mountain with their style. This is a tight race so far. They're coming in to the left-hander, and Manu is slipstreaming Dallas. We'll see who's going to take it from here.
Yes, you can see where Manu has really got that draft down, and it looks like he may even get that slingshot effect that proper drafting does give you when you're racing and you're tucking it just right.
It seems as though he's working for him right now, but he's still trying to edge up in front. Here we go.
There we go. Passing right in the corner.
Is a better racer. Manu putting on the pressure. Down. Dallas going down. Manu put the pressure on there. Even Manu slid out a little bit there, but he puts the hand downs. Shows that real Euro style coming around those tight turns. In Europe, they have much tighter courses. Out in South Africa, America, Australia, these guys are not used to a course this tight.
And as long as Manu keeps this going here, it looks like he'll cruise into an easy win. And there he goes with that classic Euro hands-down tuck style, which is very different to the American style. And that's why they can take these hairpin turns like that.
He almost takes it like a rally car. You see Dallas going down one more time. He was trying to go around there, front side, boom, ended up on his backside. Here we go with Manu cruising to an easy victory in quarterfinal number 3.
All right, here we are in the quarterfinal 2 with Eli Smoose and Manu Atuna, and they're starting off right there. They're going to have to get a good, strong push to win this one. And Paul, take over.
It's going to be tough for Manu to get the big, strong push out of the gate. You see that knee pad on his left knee there. He has a bad knee. He's had a bad knee all day long, but you know what? We'll see how the big guy can come out of the gate. There he goes, working through that pain. Does not bother the Frenchman. But like I said, he's coming in a little bit behind, and Eli Smoose has got away to a good start, but Manu is an absolute specialist when it comes to drafting. I tell you what, with him behind you, he is very tough to beat, whether he's in front or behind.
Now, Eli has got that tuck leading into him, but Manu is a master of the drafting, and it looks like he's closing in on that gap a bit. Plus, he's got that lower center of gravity Euro style, which keeps him on a much tighter axis going around the corners.
Eli's going to be tough to beat, though, if he can stay on his board. The guy's been wiry all weekend long, and I tell you what, he does get squirrely on those corners, and if he doesn't watch it, Manu's going to come around the outside.
And that looks exactly like what happened there. Manu has taken that Euro style, lower center of gravity, and is just charging through the corner, whereas Eli used the air brake there, and it just wasn't enough to catch up to him on that one.
You can see there Eli learning a little bit from the big Frenchman, coming around behind him, using that Euro style, getting the low center of gravity. Now they're both into the tuck. The weight of Manu, though, is going to be very tough to beat, and with Eli braking that early, I tell you what, he's not going to be able to overtake Manu. There Manu comes around, set sliding it around, and Eli doing the same thing, but coming off the board.
Right, he looks like he was trying to adopt that European style a little too late. You know, that takes a lot of practice to get that. Manu's been doing that for years now, and it looks like it's just kept him in, and it looks like he's going to cruise through to an easy win.
Yeah, after that fall, Eli just gave up. Manu, nothing to worry about, taking it easy. You can see there, waving to the crowd and the cameraman, cruising through for an easy victory, and he is off to the final.
And you can see how this course here lent itself more to that Euro style that Manu has, whereas Eli, with his more stand-up style, really had a problem in the corners there. And as we watch this replay here, you can see Manu has perfected this over the board, grabbing his board, keeping his center of gravity right in there so he doesn't slide out. Whereas you can see Eli loses it because his both hands are off. He just doesn't have that center of gravity where it needs to be.
Exactly. You know what? He picked up the board there. He knew the race was over, and Manu cruises into the final.
All right, here we are in semifinals number Heat 2, and we have Dave Von Bommel in the black and yellow and Daryl Freeman from Hawaii in the gray, and they're charging fast here. These are a couple of the top guys that have come in, and that's why they are in the semifinals.
Not only that, these guys are great friends. They ride together a lot overseas, and here you go. They know their styles. They know each other's lines, and these guys, it's going to be a tough, tough tussle. As you can see right there, they are so close. Daryl is drafting Dane, and we're going to see who's going to come around this left-hander and come out a winner.
Well, Daryl probably has some practice over at Mauna Kea, chasing, getting chased by those lava flows out there. They have such a similar stand-up style there. You can almost tell that, they have raced together quite a lot.
Exactly. These guys are the same age. They've come from similar schools. You see Dane there grabbing the board and stopping. Daryl, though, putting his foot down without grabbing the board. They're coming around, still no problems in this race, and Dane is starting to run away with it. I think that little bit more experience that Dane has is starting to come through for him.
Right. Now, Daryl might just be picking up some of that. Now, Dane is doing the foot stop, whereas Daryl has the air brake. And you got a little bit of that Euro style in there, too, with Dane. Actually, both of them going for it, and Daryl just knows that he just lost the race right there in the corner.
A Superman dive into the hay bales. Did you see how Dane Van Bommel just stuck around that corner? It was like he was on rails there. Daryl Freeman couldn't believe it, knew that he couldn't beat him after that, and Dane Van Bommel coming through for a relatively easy victory here in semi-final number 2.
I think Dane might have been watching Manu in those earlier races just to get a little bit more of that classic Euro cornering style on that one.
Wow, that's why he won 2 Gravity Game gold medals. Look at how he stuck that corner. Incredible.
I love to race with you.
Yeah. Ready?
Okay, we're ready.
All right, and this is what it's all leading up to here. This is the finals of the two-man stand-up downhill. We have Dane Von Bommel, Team Dregs, and Manu Atuna, the classic Euro styler, who's been tearing it up, keeping his lower center of gravity through those corners. And let's just see how it goes, Paul. What do you think?
It's going to be a tight race, I think, Chris. I mean, Manu Atuna has got that classic European style, slides around a lot of his corners, almost like a rally car, whereas Dane Van Bommel is like your typical Formula One racer. This guy sticks his turns, and he's come out with a big, big push. Like I said before, Manu's got a bad knee, hard for him to push.
Yeah, that's just it. We know that some of these races are won on the push, and Manu, with that bum knee there, just didn't have quite the takeoff that Dane does. But he looks like he's making it up in his drafting style there and really closing in on the gap there.
Exactly. I tell you what, Manu has quite a few pounds on Dane, so he's going to mack down that mountain a little bit quicker. And then you see right there coming through on the outside. I tell you what, he's going to be tough to beat from here.
Yeah, and he just slingshotted past him, though, with that drafting style. Now he's got his Euro cornering going on. But look, Dane there has a much smoother, clean line and making up a lot of ground.
All right, here we go. These guys are approaching the hairpin now. This will be very interesting. The style of Manu and the difference of Dane Van Bommel. We're coming right into the hairpin now. Manu's up a little bit earlier than Dane. Dane's dragging the foot. Manu's sliding around like a rally car. Dane, he's a little bit on the outside of his previous side. Dane, he clips the hay bales. This is going to be tough for Dane to pick it up from here.
He's going to have to hustle a lot to make this up, but if anybody can do it, Dane can. But this looks like it's going to be almost impossible. Manu has built a very comfortable lead and should cruise through the finish without a problem.
That was very unfortunate for Dane Van Bommel, taking quite a different line than he did in his second semi-final. You know, and I think it was because he had a little bit too much speed coming into that corner and couldn't quite get on the inside line that he was looking for. And there he goes, finishing for a silver medal. Still a great effort. And Manu sliding right in there for the gold medal.
Exactly.
Here we go with that replay one more time. There you see Manu taking the same line he has all the way through the contest. And Dane Van Bommel probably about a foot on the outside of what he took in the semi-final. And he ended up clipping the hay bales and going down. That's a shame.
Recapping the results, it was the powerful style of Manu Antuna from France that gave him the gold, ahead of Dane Van Bommel from the States, with the Hawaiian Daryl Freeman qualifying for bronze from his qualifying time.
Trying to find a surfing, snowboarding feeling without having those elements around us, and hence we came up with the Dirtsurfer. Yeah. With a standard board, and we sort of sell it with a more cross-purpose tyre, but apart from that, we're on a basic sort of production model here. You can go and do this crazy stuff straight off the shelf. Yeah, we've got the newly sort of designed braking system here, which is just basically with the back of your leg, you'll lean against the cable here, and that runs through the cable and operate your sort of calipers there, and operates the same as just a standard bike brake, except you don't have to, you can keep your hands free and concentrate on hanging onto that rail as you're screaming around the bend. Dirtsurfer is a great sort of versatile piece of equipment. I mean, we sort of come here today, do this high-speed downhill stuff. We do a lot of sort of mountain bike and off-road trails and things like that. Use the kite and windsurfers along sort of open parks and beaches and that on the low tides. Pick an element and you can sort of do it with this machine. It's pretty good like that.
The Mass Luge event pits 4 racers against each other on a tight and turning course. Close drafting, late braking and a bit of rubbing make this sport an exciting spectacle to watch. And with a large number of riders trying to make it through to the finals, action was guaranteed in the heats. Let's go and check out the highlights.
Really squeaking. I mean, I thought I was coming in so full bore. I really laid on it, came right up to you, just kind of got on the side of you. That was pretty sweet. It's exciting stuff and we love it.
It's just the sport. You know, I don't know why more people don't make use of it. It's one of those best kept secrets, you know, the player's best kept secret.
Okay, good race, hard time for me because it was pushing everywhere.
I've just discovered I've got a powerful start. Yeah, just go.
Matt took it out from the lead, and I was right behind him. The other 2 guys were behind us. Who knows how far. Came into the first right, and he took it just beautifully. Guy came and he passed me and he slid right in front of me and hit the bales, and I was like, whoa, and just made it, just cleared him. I don't know what happened to the fourth guy.
Neck.
Yeah, this is my medal.
Yeah.
In our next session, the race to find the fastest man on the hill. First up, we head down the Australian coastline to check out the Mass Street Luge Finals. Mass Luge pits 4 competitors against each other, all racing to be the first to the bottom of the course. Due to numbers alone, it makes it the hardest race to win of all the downhill competitions. A good start is essential for a good place, but if you're out in front, it doesn't mean you have the race won. Drafting tactics can gain you speed and help you to get in a good position for the turns. Racing is tight and fast. Take one wrong line and you can go from first to last on one corner. Braking also plays a major part in the race, but the only way to stop is by grounding your shoes. Sounds interesting? Then let's check out the action.
Here we go, quarterfinals of the Street Luge 4-man. Warner Beecher, Bob Pereira, Sean Mallard, Matt Ben.
Yeah, we've got a couple of very experienced guys in here in Bob Pereira and Sean the Duck Mallard. Matt Ben, a bike courier from Melbourne. He's going to have his work cut out for him in a field like this. You know what, it's hard enough getting out on this course and making it to the bottom.
But he's got a good start.
Yeah, he did get a great start. Look at that, the Duck Mallard, not a great start in 4th place. We'll see if he can pick up a couple of spots and slide through the semi-finals by the end of this.
And you thought it was tough enough to go one-on-one. Well, these guys are sliding through and got to pick the right lines to slide through the right guys at the right time.
Yeah, there's not a lot of gaps out there to slide through in lines here. 4 guys out there, they're all vying for that perfect line to get them down to the finish line as quick as they possibly can.
Mallard's picking up a whole place right there, going into 3rd place. And picking up some serious speed, taking an inside line here.
Yep, he's got into 3rd place at the expense of Matt Ben. And here they come around that right-hander. Bob Pereira, though, right out in the lead. They're all playing catch-up on him.
Pereira's just owning it. He's been doing this for way too long.
Exactly. Bob Pereira really knows what he's doing out there. Matt Ben, he's the rookie out there. He's going to want to try and slipstream these guys and try and get into the finals. Take some medals home for Australia.
Well, yeah, good luck. It looks like we've got the 2 Americans outside. Textbook turns with these 2, even though Mallard took it a little bit wide, but it looks like it's going to be 1-2
Ben, he's going to be disappointed with that. You're right. 1-2 USA with Matt Ben clipping those hay bales. That is going to keep him out of it. Bob Pereira is going to come through in first. Sean Mallard all the way from 4th, made it back up to 2nd. He's going to go into the semi-finals.
Looks like Matt Ben's going to stay off the bike and get on the couch and practice laying down.
Yeah, well, you know what? These guys haven't been at it that long, but a guy like Bob Pereira has been at it a long time, and look
Textbook
at that.
turn.
Yep, the hair flowing out the back. There's a lot of hair out the back. Not much on top, though, on that guy.
Mallard took it a little wide, almost hit the hay bales, but it looks like it's going to be a really good semifinal with Mallard and Pereira.
That's right. I'm looking forward to that one, Brett.
Here we go. Quarterfinal number 2. We got Tom Mason, Peter Elliott, Patrice Espoo, and Pat Brennan.
Yeah, let's focus on the all-important start. Tom Mason, he's the experienced guy up there. He's going to be the one to beat. 4 guys out on this rough, tough Street Luge track. Let's see if they can take down big old Tom Mason from the USA.
They're really pumping through. It's a tight, tight start. But you know what? You got to get a little drafting going on here and do a little strategy.
Yeah, and Tom Mason's a big guy. He's going to hold up a lot of wins, so these guys can slide right by at any time of this race.
And he's got flames, man.
Flames, well, you know
counts.
what? It definitely does. Here we go. Coming around to the left-hander, Tom Mason is in the lead. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're strung out, but you know what? This is where the slipstreaming is going to come in. That's what they're going to be trying for. Trying to get the #1 line through this course. And right now, it's looking like Tom Mason is finding that line. He came up on brakes a little bit quicker than everybody else. This is where they're going to be able to get him under brakes, but he's taking the inside line.
Oh!
That looks like Patrice going down there. Damn, that looked like it hurt. He went over high side, took a bit of a roll. These guys much prefer to slide there. He was getting up, looking around. Maybe there's a little hustle bustle there. Maybe it wasn't quite legal. We'll find out at the end of the race, though.
I love what Pat Brennan said about why he does this sport. He says, I get to break the speed limit every weekend. I go faster than more people on 4 cylinders.
Well, you know what? I drive a 6-cylinder. He's not going to be going any faster than I am, but right now, he's doing pretty well out there.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have an easy 2 going to the finals here. Mason and Elliott.
Yep, Tom Mason and Peter Elliott going through to the semifinals.
We can check out the big turn again on the replay here with Mason going through so cleanly and then Elliott right behind him.
Yep, and this is where we get into trouble. Patrice taking the outside line, gets into a slide, flips over, almost taking out Pat Brennan. Oh, I tell you what, Patrice went down hard. That one is going to hurt, but you know what? There was no way he was going to catch them from there.
In quarterfinal 3, we have Adam Sparks, George Orton, Nick Duffield, and Manu Atuna.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to be tough for these guys to beat the experience of guys like George Orton and Manu Atuna, especially a guy like Manu, who really carries a lot of weight down that mountain. When he slipstreams you, he can shoot right by at any time.
That guy looks built. He looks like an American footballer.
Yeah, but you know what? He hails from France, where the courses out there are very similar to what they're riding here. A lot of tight turns, but they're generally not this rough. So it could come down to the wheel choice that these guys have made today.
And Atuna shooting the gap, going from last to second.
Yep, and you know what? That's where he's going to place somewhere in the top 2. But it looks like George Orton is in the lead right now. Manu Atuna in second.
And Duffield's all in the back, but he's like picking up place. Oh, just getting out a little bit up there. It's a tight race.
Yeah, it is. George Orton taking the outside. Oh, he clips the handbells, but he's still on. He's still in second place. He could be relegated to third, and that has opened up a huge gap for Manu Atuna to roll down into that hairpin coming into the first place. This is definitely where it counts. Coming to that first place, he's got the outside leg braking. Cruises through, takes a big wide line, but that's not going to hurt him too much.
Not at all. Look at the fight for second, though.
It's definitely a tight one for second. Then we've got George Orton and Nick Duffield down there.
We got Atuna in the lead, but we got Duffield and then Sparksy. Looks like Duffield might just pull it out and be able to squeak through to the semifinals.
Yeah, and a big surprise. George Orton coming in last, Manu cruising in first. What happened to George Orton back there?
I don't know, let's check it out. Look at this. Atuna just going from last to second, busting the gap between these two guys. Amazing.
Yeah, Manu made his own gap, and then right after that, he cruised on through to the semifinals.
Got the last heat in the quarterfinals. Waldo Autry, Andre Weber, Jeremy Gilder, and Chris Cunningham.
Yeah, here we go. Waldo Autry, definitely the most experienced guy there. He's actually a hairdresser coming out of the United States. And here he goes, street luging today. A lot of these guys have other jobs. Andre Weber, the guy who designs the street luge boards, he has come out of the gate very quick. You know what they've been saying? He's had a very quick start all weekend long.
Yeah, we got Waldo in third place, though, and you know what? He's really good at strategy, and he's been doing this a long time, so we'll see if he can pull through.
Yeah, watch his line here. You know what? If there's anyone to watch, anyone's going to make this race interesting, it's him taking the inside there. He's got one spot. Now he's taking the outside. He's looking to get Andre Weber. We hope Andre Weber can go through, though, one of the only Australians left in there. Look at that. Coming around the backside of him and taking him on the inside. Now he's on the outside of the next turn, but he's already pipped him.
Yeah, without a problem, no doubt about that. And Andre Weber, you know, he uses his street luge to work underneath his car.
Well, you know what? Let's hope he can fix cars, and let's hope he can street luge, because he is the great Australian hope out there just behind Walter Autry. And if he can stay there in second place, he's going to make it through to the semifinals.
No problem looking here, and it looks like Weber was born in the Melbourne Zoo. His dad was working there as a director.
You know what? That's what they say, and I thought I recognized him. I went there on a school excursion back in the day, and I'm positive I saw Andre Weber out there.
Oh, here we go. We're going right down the final stretch. See what can happen.
Yep, we've got Waldo Autry, Andre Weber looking like they're going to go through to the semifinals, and that is the way it's going to stay.
And who's in last?
Brett, who cares who's in last? We're not going to see him in the semifinals.
That's my line.
Well, you know what? Check out Waldo's line. Coming around the outside there, overtaking Andre Weber. This guy is really switched on. It's going to be a great final. I tell you what, I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, here we go. Semifinals number 1 of the street luge. We got Tom Mason, Bob Pereira, Peter Elliott, Sean Mallard. Enough colors, looks like color of Benetton.
Oh yeah, these guys are a bunch of colorful characters, and you know what? This is going to be a race to watch. A bunch of old heavyweights out there. These guys know how to street luge. Sean Duck Mallard in last right now, surprisingly, but keep an eye on him. The guy knows lines, and he knows how to get to the front from behind.
Paul, you telling me? Because I have to sit here and I have to keep an eye on him. We got Mallard in the back and see what he can pull off. He's got it. I don't know, he's way back there.
Yeah, right now we got Mason in the front, though, Mallard in the back, and Pereira and Elliott in the middle. Let's see how this race pans out. Mason, Pereira, Elliott, and then we got Mallard. The Duck bringing up the slack.
Quack, quack.
Here approaching that ever-important hairpin. There's the slight right-hander. We've seen a bit of trouble around there. Now, here we go. The duck trying to make out one spot there. Toes are touching helmets. Oh, look at the duck go by that hay bale.
Look at this. They're all lined up.
They are.
Oh, Mallard with a big move. Going to the outside.
Jostling for position, and you know what? It's Tom Mason that's just out there in the front.
Oh, yeah.
Three of them coming in a line. They come out of the turn together. No crashes. They're very lucky. Bob Pereira now, he's in last. He's already sat up with the helmet. Something went wrong there. He's calling it in.
He's got something in his eye.
Well, we'll see when we get down to the finish line.
Hey, but Tom Mason and Mallard going to the finals.
Bob Pereira is not going to be happy about that. Interesting to see what's going on there. Look at that. Mason's gone through without a problem.
No problem at all.
Peter Elliott on the outside.
Look at Mallard just cranking it.
I told you, that guy knows line, and that's where he picked it. Maybe Mallard pushed Pereira into Elliott, and that's where the problem was. But right here, boom, a kick for Pereira. Mallard off to the finish line.
Semifinal number 2, we got Waldo Autry, Andre Weber, Nick Duffield, and Manu Atuna.
Yeah, the guys are getting ready for the start. Now, you saw Manu taping up his gloves. This guy doesn't want those to come off when he hits the concrete.
It's always good to have protection.
The gun is gone, and let's see if Andre Weber can get off to another quick start. He's been doing that all day, leading from the front, but he's had trouble staying up there. If he can get into the final, maybe he can get a medal and bring one home for Australia.
Manu's just a bulldog up there paddling, but he just still doesn't get a quick start.
No, you know what? Andre surprisingly has surprised a lot of guys getting quick starts out there. Now, if he can keep the start going, let's hope he can. But Manu already coming around the outside of Waldo Autry.
Yeah, and Waldo, man, he picked some good lines, and looks like he's he's cutting in the inside right now.
These guys are all over the place, getting speed wobbles, braking. They don't really know what's going on. They're jostling for position, trying to get that all-important good line. Waldo Autry was the first guy, and he's in second place. Andre Weber, though, stay out of that trouble, and he's still in first, but they're catching him fast.
Yeah, it looks like Duffield's in second, and he took 5 layers of skin off his bum, and he wasn't able to sit down for a week not too long ago.
Well, let's hope it's been at least 7 days since then, because he's got to sit down for a little bit longer. Andre Weber still in first place, under brakes. Waldo Autry is putting the pressure.
Oh, it's tight.
Nick Duffield coming around the outside. Oh, Manu taking it way too wide, almost catching the hay bales.
Looks like we have Weber and Autry coming into the finish line here.
Yes, the Australian boy is coming good. Waldo Autry is right behind him. We'll see if he can get him at the line. But you know what? 1-2, Weber and Autry going into the final.
Here it is. Big turn, big moves, big lines. Check this out. We got Weber up front, taking it easy, and Waldo just skimming through the inside line. Let's get ready to rumble. We got the finals of Street Luge. Tom Mason, Andre Weber, Waldo Autry, and Sean Mallard.
That's right. They're the guys in the final of the Street Luge match. Andre Weber coming out of the gate in first place again. That guy's been having some amazing starts all day long. Let's hope he can stay in front and bring home gold for Australia.
Yeah, we got Autry and Mallard finishing up with like 3rd and 4th place right now. But look at this fight going on right now.
Yeah, already the experience of Tom Mason showing through. He's getting on top of Andre Weber right at the start. He doesn't want to have to deal with getting past him in any of those tough turns later on in the track.
We gotta see who can pick the right line and who can go take the gold.
Yeah, Tom Mason looks like he's got the right line so far, but Waldo Autry, we've seen him come from behind before. He always gets up on that corner a little early, but you know what? It's working for him because he's trying to come around the inside of Andre Weber right now, and it's working for him, pushing Andre Weber to the outside. Waldo Autry coming around net, which is now on the outside of this left-hander.
What a great rush of adrenaline, being like a couple inches off the ground, going that fast.
All right, this is the business corner right here. How is it going to pan out? Hey, look what's happened here. Sean Mallard has come from 4th to 2nd, just picking the right line and leaving Andre Weber hanging back in 4th place.
Yeah, what a great race. It's a typical Street Luge race, going fast, picking the right lines, a lot of change of position. Looks like we got Tom Mason, Sean Mallard, Waldo Autry, and then Andre Weber.
That's right, no medal for the Australians here, but Tom Mason, he is over the moon. Look at that, sliding into first place, getting congratulations from Manu and Bob Pereira.
Yeah, and it looked like Weber had things pretty wrapped up here in the lead, but we got Mason taking him over in a tight race in the Street Luge, and that's how it is. Things just change in the course of this race, and then we had Mason popping in to win the gold.
At the end of the competition, the official top 3 positions went to America. Tom Mason slid into the gold medal position. Sean Mallard's last second pass gave him the silver, leaving Waldo Autry with the bronze. For more information on the World Extreme Games and extreme sports in general, check out extreme.com.